What do you guys think Katie's having for breakfast? Do they think it's a nice cold one or do they think it's a Celsius?
Well, I'm not a beer drinker, so.
Real ones know. Welcome to Disrespectfully
With Katie Maloney
and Dana Cathan.
Unapologetically,
We're here to do what we want to do.
spilling the tea.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.
can I tell you why I'm not as refreshed as I normally am right now?
Why?
I had quite the evening. After Coachella, I had 5 loads of laundry and just, getting caught up, cleaning up, whatever. I cleaned my bedding. It is the perfect bedding. It's warm. It's crisp. I get it. I'm still so tired from getting caught up on sleep. Trigger warning, this is gross. If anyone is icked out easily, plug your ears for the next 30 seconds. Laszlo comes to get in bed with me and it's very smelly. And I'm like, she's not a smelly cat. So I immediately am like, what is going on right now? And she walks all over my comforter, all over her blanket I just washed, all over my pillows, and then up onto my bed frame, which is like a cloth material. And the smell is overwhelming. And I'm like, you have poo-poo somewhere. I pick her up. She has poo stuck in her foot and got it all over my freshly washed sheets. I'm so excited to go to bed. I had to bathe her in the sink. Then I had to rip apart my bed, put it back in the wash, and get my backup bedding on.
Oh my God.
My duvet, duvets in general, that's one of the 7 circles of hell, having to put together a duvet. So I was already sweating like it was game 6. Getting the goddamn duvet cover back on my comforter, and then I just had to undo it all.
Fucking gross. But then also having to like bathe a kitty.
Oh yeah. And she has allergies right now, so I'm having to give her a weekly bath, and it's already very unfun in the tub. Screaming at me, and I'm like, you did this to us. This, like, why are you gaslighting me right now? Like I cheated on you. You did this. So anyway, she's sitting there with her little wet foot, like, and I'm like, do you have any idea what I'm going through right now?
Just all over the bed. Like that's the worst. Is you're tired, you're in bed, you're getting cozy, and then you have to deal with that.
Look, I know you let the boys in bed with you, but how do you feel about like the arguing about that? Like people are grossed out by it, but 99% of the time it goes well for me. This was a one-off.
I know when people say they don't let the dog in the bed, I'm just like, so what? You make them sleep on the floor?
So what, you have a person in your bed? No.
I don't know. When people are precious about that, it like really bugs me. And then I see the meme that's like, oh, you let your dog sleep in the bed with you? Like, I would let my dog drive my car. Like, if my dogs could, I would 100% let them.
I kiss her on the mouth.
Yeah.
I kiss her right on her stinky mouth. I don't care. I know what her mouth licks up, obviously. And cats normally clean themselves, so I don't know what happened, but she apparently had a factory reset and just decided to walk around my bed with fecal matter. But yeah, it was disappointing.
Well, sometimes when the dogs haven't been like groomed in a long time and then they go to the bathroom and if the hair's sort of like growing over the butt, then like when they go poop, this is really a great episode. Like it just sort of they get like what we call mud butt,
Not mud butt.
And then it's like, and the worst is when it's like, it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm like hungover and then one of them gets like a mud butt and I'm like, oh my God, all I want to do is just go for a simple walk, do the thing so I can get back in bed. But then I realize, okay, now I got to go put you in the bath, wash your poopy butt, which is just like not fun. It's not fun washing poop off a dog's butt.
Yeah.
It's all stuck in the hair. It doesn't wash clean. It takes, I feel you. And it only ever happens when I'm in a hurry or hungover.
Oh yeah. It never happens when I'm my best self. When I've worked out that morning, when I have an Erewhon smoothie in hand, that is not when it happens. It happens when I have been basically unable to string words together because I'm so dysfunctional after Coachella and all I want to do is go to sleep. And I don't do well even with babies. Like I love my nieces more than anything. My sister will tell you remember when she was in town in September with the baby? The baby in the middle of the night had an explosion and obviously she has a pack and play, but my sister put her on it to just change her. It was the Exorcist trilogy. It was the scariest thing I've ever seen. So that was another time. And like, obviously I'm not mad at Laszlo. I'm not mad at a baby. They're doing what they do. But when I had her body in the sink last night and she was fighting me, all I could think was I'm so not ready for motherhood. It's just, I'm just not there. Like to have to deal with this on a regular basis.
Do diapers Like when you're with your sister and the babies are around, or do you let your sister do it?
Yes, I do diapers. Okay.
Oh, I see. Couldn't tell you the last time I changed a diaper. There's just always someone more like qualified around.
Well, Dot is like 5 now, so you probably did. You used to change Dot's
I've
diapers?
never changed. No, there's always someone more qualified around to handle that.
I mean, it's true. Because a lot of our friends and obviously our siblings have kids, but no, I do it, but I don't do it like pee-pee diapers, no problem. And I will change a poopy diaper if I have to, but I always tell my sister, I'm like, I'm sorry, I love you. I would walk on shards of glass for 10 miles before I would change a poopy. I'd rather do that. So like, I will die for you, but I don't want to change your diaper. There's a funny video of me trying to change Lenny's, and they're always like the cutest babies make the stinkiest diapers too. It's just a science. I don't control that. It's just like a graph, The cuter the baby, the worse the diaper. So anyway, Leia, this is what you have to look forward to soon.
I know. I'm sitting here like, oh, fuck. I've never changed a diaper either.
You never have.
Okay, if you're at home, she's with child. How far along are you now?
25 weeks.
Never change a diaper. Well, you're in for a real treat. It's not for the faint of heart. People are like, it's different when it's your own kids. I'm like, okay, my nieces feel like mine. I love them so much, and I don't care. I don't like it. It's not for us.
No.
Anyway, we can move on from the conversation.
Maybe we should move on from the poop talk.
Yeah, we're big on TikTok, not big on poop talk. Anywho, so yeah, I was still recovering from Coachella. Coachella was very fun this weekend. Didn't have to deal with
was not there.
Stinky diapers. Katie was unfortunately not there. Coachella is always such a good time. I just love it, but I'm never as wrecked as I am at any other music festival than when I come back from that. And it was pretty much what you thought it'd be. Taylor Swift was there, which was very surprising. I saw Travis Kelce at Neon, but she was like sitting. I couldn't believe she was even in the artist because we were very fortunate. This is not a humble brag, but we were very lucky and had artist guest passes. So we were in that area, and I couldn't believe that she was even in that area. I mean,
where else would she be?
She had a lot of security. I don't know, like behind the stage. Like it's so wild to me. She's just walking around
alone. I mean, if you're going to be there, you're acting like she's like in Gen Pop. The artist is like where anyone else would be.
Because you see, obviously, there's so many famous people there, but she's like one of the most famous people alive. So I don't know, it just surprised me.
She just wants to be a regular girl.
She does. Wait, do you know who my favorite person we saw was? I feel like this would excite you. Peter Dinklage.
Oh my God.
Yeah, from Game of Thrones. We saw Peter Dinklage. I literally turned around. He was standing behind me and I was like,
Tyrion.
Oh my God, Tyrion?
What are you doing here?
Who's watching The Throne? What did you do this weekend? I think you sent me a photo of that Barbie love.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I met up with a friend I haven't seen in a while. We went out. I visited a bar that we love. I went to another bar that we love. Walked in, there was 10 people there. I was like, okay, so maybe this is Coachella. So I was like, all right, well then like maybe we should go to like some other bars. We went to a couple other ones, packed. Couldn't get in, lines. We ended up getting into one of them, but like it was wild.
And the one you were referring to, we'll just call it the dancing bar, is always sardines. After 11 p.m., you cannot move. So that is, I can't even imagine what it would look like.
It was 11:30.
That's crazy.
There's 10 people in there.
It must have been Coachella, but they said the other ones were packed. So
yeah. And like 10 minutes down the street. Crazy. Yeah. And then I like hung out with another friend. We just like drank wine, hung out. I had a pretty like chill weekend.
We drank wine and ate peanut brittle, and we told each other things we've never told anyone.
Literally. It was raining. It was like a very rainy weekend in LA. So it was like very much an indoor kind of weekend.
Well, Coachella this year was much colder than last year. And I will say at 9 p.m. on Sunday, this has never happened at Coachella. I had a hard stop. I was like, nope, I'm done here. I left alone. I was just, my lower back. I mean, this is 33, I guess. I was just, and I on and off earplugs, which I had never done before. And it's just, it's a different thing. You go nonstop for 3 straight days and I just can't do it.
It wreaks havoc on the bod.
And it was also freezing there. So Neon Carnival, that's usually my favorite part. James Kennedy played Neon Carnival, which was very fun to see.
Oh my God, I saw a video. Speaking of Taylor Swift, I saw someone was like filming a video low key of like her sitting somewhere at Neon Carnival. He was playing Cruel Summer and she was like vibing to it. And then all of a sudden it like goes into like the remix of it. And she was like, yeah, it had like a reaction. And people were like, debating whether or not she was liking it, or my take on it was like she was like, whoa, what's happening here, like she was not prepared for the remix.
Well, and also she knew what kind of music it was, so I can't imagine she'd be like, what is this? It's not a Taylor Swift concert, so obviously they're gonna remix it. But yeah, I think
she was like, oh, I haven't heard this remix.
That's where yeah, it's the James Kennedy special. That's where we saw her, was at Neon. But Neon was so frigid that it was hard to even have fun. And it's usually like we went 2 years ago and remember I was just in that dad shirt that was open with a bralette and I was fine the entire night.
It's very hit or miss.
Very hit or miss.
You never know. That's why sometimes it's like, do I want to go? I don't know. It's a commitment.
I'm definitely in the era of my life in which if I'm not comfortable, I can't do it. I just can't. Like it was so cold and I had a sweatshirt on. So
also, do you know what I did? What you might have missed this weekend? Because we talked about it last week, was it? I watched SNL. Great episode of SNL. Ryan Gosling was the guest. His whole opening like monologue was the song. It was Taylor Swift's song All Too Well that he like changed the lyrics to, about him trying to say goodbye to Ken, but he couldn't say goodbye. And then Emily Blunt comes out and she's trying to say goodbye to her character in Oppenheimer. I was laughing out loud. Fantastic episode. But Caitlin Clark came on. And so in Weekend Update, Michael Che, he kind of always is like shading women's sports, especially the WNBA. And so it was so epic. It was so incredible because he was like, oh, they're retiring Caitlin Clark's jersey and they're replacing it with an apron. And then she comes out and she goes, really? She calls him out for like giving shit about women's sports. And then he's like, I don't think I do. And then Colin Jost was like, roll the tape. And then it's just like him like giving shit about it. And then she goes, well, how about you read some of the jokes that I wrote? And then he does. And they're just like kind of shading him and they're really great. And she just like killed it. I loved it. And then at the end, she's like, here, I have something for you. And it was a signed apron. Loved it.
I love when people are able to be in on the joke. That's amazing. And obviously she gets so much that I am so glad you brought her up though, because remember when we were talking about her, I was saying it was like 75,000 average.
76.
Basement behavior. Her starting contract for the WNBA is a 4-year contract worth $338,000. But if you break it down, the first year is $76,000 and it incrementally increases a little bit. Not even $100,000 a year for a 4-year contract. For the ratings are going to skyrocket just because her. And also, to be fair, a lot of people in her class of recruits, like this was just a big year for women's college basketball. I couldn't believe it, even for her.
Yeah, but let's hope that she gets some like crazy endorsements.
Oh, I think she's going to be just fine.
But
she's
still,
going to get, it's the principal though.
I know, it still is principal. Like, let's be for real. Like people will be watching maybe for the first time.
I'm going to watch a match.
I'll watch a match.
I'm going to watch a match with her in it.
But yeah, I just wanted to like shout that out because it was pretty epic. I enjoyed it a lot.
Good. They all looked so great. Did you see the draft pick day? Like all their little fits. They were all so cute.
I didn't watch that, no.
Well, TikTok obviously, but okay. they all just looked so adorable, and she looked, it was nice to see her in her cute little outfit. She had a little like Prada tank top on with like a little skirt matching top. Moment. It was really cute.
Prada.
Yeah.
What's up?
So anyway, it became predictable, but I just thought that was egregious.
It's offensive. I'm offended by it, but that doesn't matter what I think about it.
I got back from Coachella last week and decided it was time to get out of the slums, start my healthy journey. And Daily Harvest has been a game changer for me because it's less about quick fixes and more about building healthy habits, which I obviously wasn't participating in all of Coachella weekend. So
I completely agree. Daily Harvest makes it easy to meet my goals and stick with them. They take the planning, prep, and cleanup out of cooking by delivering my favorite veggie and fruit packed meals straight to my door, which is so lovely.
Amazing. With Daily Harvest, I'm getting tons of plant-based options built on organic fruits and vegetables that are easy to prep, which is so important because if something is a pain, you're not going to do it. Free of gluten, fillers, seed oils, added starches, and sugars. I don't know, it just really takes the guesswork and effort out of eating food that I know is good for me. And obviously we're 7-Eleven girlies, so balance.
Well, I know, because usually keeping up with the healthy habits means like the same old boring meals, but not with Daily Harvest because they've got so many really great options for any time of the day, which means sticking to the healthy habits is a breeze.
I personally love having the dragon fruit and lime smoothie in the morning and then cuddling up in my PJs at night with a little warm rosemary soup. What about you?
The asparagus risotto is one of my favorites. I'm a big pasta gal, so that one just really does it for me.
I actually couldn't believe how good their pastas were. When I first tried them, I was like, okay, showing off.
Okay, flavor.
And by using only recyclable and compostable packaging, when possible, Daily Harvest is doing their part to take care of the earth, which helps me limit waste and makes me feel good. We love a
Yeah.
conscious brand.
Create healthy habits that last with Daily Harvest. For a limited time only, go to dailyharvest.com/disrespectfully to get $30 off your first box plus free shipping.
That's dailyharvest.com/disrespectfully for $30 off your first box and free shipping. dailyharvest.com/disrespectfully. I am so excited to talk about this. So, you know, I haven't been to the gym in years.
Yeah, why?
Well, I found out I'm still paying for an old gym membership.
Oh, no.
And there was another online membership that I didn't realize I had that I've been paying for 9 months.
Jeez.
So thank you, Rocket Money, because now I can spend that money elsewhere, like on my Pilates membership or a little sweet treat.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've been trying to pay better attention to my finances. And that's why I tried Rocket Money. And I'm so glad I did, because turns out I had a bunch of subscriptions as well I was paying for that I had completely forgotten about. And Rocket Money helped me cancel some of them. And now I'm finally starting to see my account balance going up.
I'm truly obsessed with Rocket Money. I can't believe how easy it is to use, and it has been very illuminating. It's a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings.
With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions and a clear view of my expenses, so I can see all my subscriptions in one place. And if I see something I don't want, Rocket Money can help me cancel it with just a few taps.
I love how the dashboard shows me everything from this month's spending compared to last. So if you have like a really scary month, you feel much better when you have a much better month.
Yeah.
And I can, you know, you can clearly track your spending habits. Plus, they help me create a custom budget and keep my spending on track.
Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lowering your bills by up to 20%. All you have to do is submit a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. They'll deal with customer service for you.
Ugh, which
I know.
we know how we feel about
Yeah.
talking to customer service. Not for me.
No.
Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features. And there are so many to use.
Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/disrespectfully.
That's rocketmoney.com/disrespectfully. rocketmoney.com/disrespectfully.
Wait, I also wanted to get your opinion on something, because I know you're on TikTok a lot.
That doesn't sound like me.
Some people are here for it, some people are not. But what is your take? What do you think about the Montana boys? Are you annoyed by them? Do you like it?
I hate saying this because I don't like to talk about people I've never met, obviously, but like hardcore do not get it. Don't understand it. I think that they are cringe, and I am not trying to be mean, but like
Do you find them attractive?
in their way, like I don't think they're fugly or anything. I mean, yeah, they're like, I get that they're a burly group of guys, but I just, the way they all just like it's like a 98 Degrees video every time I see them, and I just don't understand it. And then like Kristen Cavallari and that, by the way, I know none of their names. I just know that they're the Montana boys. They could walk up to me in a bar and slap me in the face, and I still wouldn't know who it was. Like, that's how little I know who they are. So yeah, I just think they're kind of like, it's how I feel about the chefs that over sexualize mozzarella, like do those like thirst trap videos. Why? What do you think about them? Oh no.
No. I was just curious, because people are just like, they're everywhere now. Like, people are like, I can't escape the Montana boys. They were bartenders on Watch What Happens Live the other night.
I saw that
when Tom and Kristen were on, and I was like, they really are kind of everywhere for like doing not much. And the thing is, I never want to shade anyone, because it's like, if you're marketing yourself great and putting yourself out there, like more power to you. I'm not going to stop you. But it's like, again, like, I'm not like, I'm thoroughly entertained, but like, again, it's just kind of like, they're not like oozing personality. I'm like, besides just being like, having like the hats and being like, sort of like these Montana.
It's like that phrase, I'm not flirting, I'm just hot and talking. They're just hot and existing. So they do well on TikTok. It's currently, and also, do you know who else Andy just had on? Jake Shane. He's a really famous, like,
I love him.
Love Jake Shane. So he's maybe Andy's just more in his TikTok era, but currently right now, the girl with the highest liked or viewed video of all time is just this like beautiful Australian girl who has a big following, but she's literally just in her car lip syncing a video. And I'm like, yeah, she's just really hot. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm really not trying to sound like a hater. People like it for a reason. I just don't particularly get it.
I don't know if maybe I'm just out of touch. And like, listen, like Chris, the guy that Kristen is dating is like hot, like girl, like fucking get it. I'm not like knocking her or whatever, but just like, yeah, I'm just kind of like, they just like stand in a line and walk up to the camera and like wink. Like,
If we did that, people would click their lock screen. They get out of the app. So I get that. It's like them saying the Kardashians is like have no talent. It's like, yeah, they obviously do. They've, have this empire. So it's kind of like that. Like something is working, the winking. But if I winked, someone would think I was resetting, like something was happening.
No, I mean, there's the bare minimum, then there's not, what's below that. And then this is below that.
Right.
Right?
Totally. But it's working for them. And like this, maybe they know a lot about bears. They're the Montana boys. So
I don't know what they know. On Watch What
Mm.
Happens Live, I don't think they said a word. That's the thing, is like they just like stood there, and Andy's like, because he was talking to Tom and Kristen about like what was happening on the show, and like it was like rapid fire conversation question. And then he looked at the Montana boys. He's like, am I like speaking gibberish to you guys? Do you understand anything? And they're like,
They're like, last night we let the liquor talk.
They didn't even they couldn't even answer the question. They didn't say anything the entire, even when Andy would like address them, they just kind of went, they didn't say anything. And I saw clips from like Kristen Cavallari's podcast like on TikTok when I scroll, and it's like, again, they still say like minimal. And I'm just like, you talk?
Maybe that's for the best.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, at some point, if you're going to be handed opportunities, people want to like get into it with you. You know what I mean? They're going to want to find out like, who are you? What do you, like, what's up? Like, we've seen the videos. You're hot. Who are you? And it's like, durr.
I've never even looked at their TikTok. Is it just all dancing videos or like of them like walking around and winking?
It's just like them just kind of like all standing around, like lip syncing, just sort of, that's, yeah.
Here's my question for you.
What's that?
Because I don't think. What do you think about her and her Montana boy, Kristen Cavallari? What do you think about their relationship?
I mean, I don't know much about their relationship, but I think he's hot. Like, I get the appeal.
Do you think they're serious?
I don't know. I mean, I heard her talking to Justin in a clip, and she's like, well, something I have to like consider is that he's like young, and if he like wants kids, like that's something to like think about. And I think that's something that any woman who would be considering dating someone of that age bracket would have to like, it would cross their mind at some point. So I get that, like, whether or not you want to like take it to a serious place. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure like it started out having fun, but maybe it's entered into like a more serious place. But I don't know. I don't know how serious 24-year-old boys are.
Right. And who knows, maybe they get more serious if they're dating Kristen Cavallari. But I saw something. I think they're talking about kids, and more so, I think that conversation is coming up because of the age difference, kind of like you were saying. But it was just interesting for me to see a clip of her like talking about that it's, it's a timely thing for her, but he's really young. And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I don't know, they seem really happy for them.
I would be having fun and be very happy.
But she's riding that mechanical bull every night.
I mean, look at him. I would be very happy myself too.
He looks like he knows how to lasso things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I ride that as long as.
Do you know
why not?
I've herded cattle before.
What does that mean?
Just speaking of Montana.
Wait, what does that mean?
On a horse. I was forced to herd cattle.
Actual. I was like, I'm not getting the euphemism here.
Yeah, sorry, this is not a sexual innuendo.
Sorry, the innuendo.
And super random. Yeah. My really good friend Randy lives in Spokane, Washington, which is kind of desolate, and her husband's family owns a ranch there, and they're literally like actual ranchers. And every time I go into town, I like to ride the horses just for fun. And they tricked me into herding cattle. They were like, oh, let's just go up this hill. And there was like a bunch of cows. And they're like, okay, we need your help. We're down a person. And so I have actually herded cattle in my life. Scariest shit ever. Didn't have a helmet on. It was my broke back moment. But anyway.
Different kind of broke back moment.
Mm-hmm.
One time at a bar in Chatsworth, they were giving lasso lessons. And I learned how to lasso.
Do you think you could still do it today?
No. Well, so I would need like a refresher. But like that was pretty tight.
Love that. At least you're honest with yourself and our audience. This is a very trusting space.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to get a little yeehaw on.
I could go for a line dance. I hate country music, but I love Cowboy Carter. And line dancing is fun. But the problem with it is the people who are good at it and who do it frequently take it very seriously.
But, oh yeah.
You better get ready to go in the flow of the circle, whatever we're doing, and don't bonk into anyone because
you're gonna boot, scoot, and boogie or get the fuck out of their way.
the amount of dirty looks me and Raleigh got at Gillian's in Vegas when we just got on the floor and we're just like drunk and silly and trying to follow. No, these people are competitive about it.
The one and then the other people who have their own like little twist on it, they like, you know, they're not doing the traditional. They're adding flair to it and stuff.
All these people is like, yeah, and it's like, what's it called? Flash mob, when all of a sudden people just start randomly dancing. Where are these people practicing? Because everyone in there knows these dances but us. And I'm like, is there a secret line dancing meeting that I forgot to sign up for at birth? That everyone just fucking knows how to line dance?
There are like a couple different guys who like are the organizers of it, and I think they probably send out like videos.
Well, they must not put those on TikTok because I would have seen them by now. So
I feel like I've seen them, and there's like one dude that's in charge. I don't know how they like organize. Okay, like this is where you're gonna stand, and this is when you're gonna join. There's probably like a lot more organizing that goes into it, and I think they do it like over like months to get like everyone committed. And
kind of sounds like the Church of Scientology to me. Sounds like that's where we're heading. We're line dancing into a cult, but I don't know.
Like the flash mob cult.
Have you ever been a part of a flash mob?
No. I don't want to be a part of it, but I want to be in the midst of it. I want to be sitting at like a lunch spot and have the flash mob just be happening around me. That'd be so exciting. I'd have goosebumps.
I've never seen one. I've definitely never been around one either. I would like to participate in one, but again, where are these meetings? I'm feeling excluded. No one ever texts me and is like, flash mob, high noon.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Do you want friends that are like flash mobbers?
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, because you want to be one.
I want to be in one, but
you don't want to be the only, or do you want to be like the one?
No. We need a group. I feel like I should hang out with more LARPers, live action role play people.
Oh, do you want to be like the people that do like the medieval, like, what are the people that do like the stuff in the woods where they like reenact like fighting? Remember Role Models, that movie? And like
yeah, aren't they LARPers?
Is that what they're called?
Isn't that what it is? Anyway, we're going so off the fucking rails here. I'm sorry. We just got to this.
Like, what if you met somebody and that's what he did on the weekend?
Yeah, a LARPer is someone who reenacts fantasy scenarios by dressing up and taking a character role.
Well, I think that leads to nowhere good if Grey's Anatomy season 2 tells us anything. Because those guys are reenacting the Civil War and they shot a live bazooka into someone's chest cavity. And then Coach Eric died because of it.
I mean, like, okay, Civil War is one thing, but what if they're like straight up like, milady? He's like, I'm a knight.
I want to say that I wouldn't be into it, but given my track record and affinity for losers, I don't know. What about you?
What if you worked at medieval times?
Is that a real place?
Oh, yeah. I went there for my birthday once.
Is it in Los Angeles?
It's in like Anaheim.
I mean, I would go. Should we go to that?
We should.
Ye old pickup spot? Maybe we've been looking for love in all the wrong places.
Oh, yeah. Some of the nights, they weren't too bad looking.
Well, then it brings me back to Garden State. Remember the boyfriend of his mom?
Peter Skarsgård's moms. And it was like his friend from like school, wasn't it? Or something?
Yeah, they went to high school together. And then he's just like in his suit eating cereal with his mom.
With his night suit on the next morning. Oh, would it be hot or not?
No. I'd say no, but give me enough. What the fuck did people drink in the Middle Ages? Ye old brine, and who knows what's going to happen.
Ale.
Yeah.
Give me a pint of ale.
A pint of ale, good sir.
Give me a couple pints of ale and, this ye old wench. I'll turn into ye old wench.
Yeah, we definitely we definitely be wenches.
Bend me over a barrel of hay. Yikes.
I feel like the wenches had more fun.
They for sure did.
Than the proper ladies. Well, here's our last medieval fact. I don't know if this is true or not. Do you know why people cheers?
No.
Allegedly. I don't want to get sued by...
Because it's fun and ceremonious. And it's
King Henry VIII. No, when you do it, kings used to do it to make sure there wasn't poison in each other's cups.
Oh, I think I did hear this one time.
Let us know if we're right on that. I don't know if who knows?
Because it would like go into each other's?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, we do it so daintily these days. Like, bing.
Let's bring back the poison cheers.
We cheers with babies now because it's fun.
Another litmus test. How do people react to your poison cheers?
It says it's also been said that vessels were clinked together, accompanied by shouts and cheers to ward off evil spirits. But I like your take better.
Yeah,
I like that better
Let's just
too.
Go with mine. I mean, this is going to be the random. Every episode we do is the random episode, and the people who get it. Like our audiences who's here get it. And then some people will listen to an episode and be like, that was chaos. And we're like,
Welcome to the stream of consciousness.
this is what we talk about on the couch. Did you hear about the Fajita Thief?
So I have a new bev.
The bevvy queen. Tell me everything.
It's called Bubbly Burst. And I brought every single flavor.
Yeah, you
so
did.
which one do you want? I got triple berry, peach mango, cherry lemonade, pineapple tangerine, watermelon lime, and tropical punch.
What's your fave?
Well, the Bubbly Burst flavors are all insanely good. But I mean, I don't know. I crave a different flavor depending on what I'm doing. When I watch shows at night, I might do like a glass of watermelon lime and like a wine glass over ice. And then when I need a midday pick-me-up, I might do like a cherry lemonade or peach mango. But I think for my new podcast beverage, I'm going to do the tropical punch.
Sounds bubbly.
Effervescent. Oh, yeah.
I'm a berry gal. So can I have the triple berry?
Mm-hmm.
We'll do some ASMR.
Yes.
Here's doll. Meow. This is next level. What is it?
It's Bubbly Burst, and it's a new sparkling water beverage that flips the script on boring with a burst of bold fruit flavors, obviously refreshing bubbles, and 1% juice.
I feel like I was just talking about this, how I'm really conscious of the amount of sugar in drinks. And it looks like there's 0 added sugar. And it has antioxidants and immune support with vitamins E and zinc, which you and I can both use apparently since we've been to the hospital recently. And only 5 to 10 calories.
The best part is that it's bursting with flavor. Love that it gives me the little burst I need, and it makes any activity like really fun.
It's like a party in my mouth and everyone's invited. I love how colorful the bottles are too. They're so cute. They make me happy. It's bursting. It's colorful. It's energetic. There's a little saying at the top of each cap.
Totally.
What does yours say?
It says fizz on.
Mine says drink it all in.
Very-
That's like really uplifting.
Definitely try this new Bubbly Burst. Bubbly Burst is a flavorful new sparkling water beverage from the makers of Bubbly.
Honestly, I'm going to try the watermelon lime too. Delicious. It's bursting with fruit flavor. And again, the no sugar added is just really what I need to be all smiles. Katie, I saw that you went through your closet. How was that?
It was actually kind of fun because I really got into like the groove. I went through like the shoes and the clothes and the everything.
I love a good spring cleaning. My favorite thing to do is change my bed for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes it's because my cat deflowers it, and sometimes it's because I just want a nice crisp sheet.
Totally. And that's why we both love Boll & Branch. There's nothing better than soft, breathable, all new bedding.
Boll & Branch saved my life last night. I keep so many of their sheets for this reason. And I mean, also, if you're sleeping with a pet in bed, you should keep a fresh pair of clean sheets.
When I do like my Sunday like reset, I like to have a fresh set always. I get in there and like do my little leg kicks. I love the softness of all their sheets. It's wonderful. It's luxurious.
It is. The first night I changed my bedding to Boll & Branch, I slept like a baby. You can feel the quality immediately. And with each wash, the sheets just get softer and softer, which I love. I love the first time you put them and you get them out of the dryer and you can just instantly tell. Feels like you're sleeping in butter.
You know, and I've been traveling a lot and I actually really miss my bed so much while I'm away because I can tell the difference between the Boll & Branch bedding and like everything else. I got the juniper colored bed sheets and I really love how it looks in my room. And I just feel really happy when I get home and I see my bed and I want to like Scrooge McDuck into it, you know?
I love a Scrooge McDuck. I mean, like you said, it's luxurious. I feel like am I royalty right now? Like that's how I feel when I get in my bed. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are the perfect way to start upgrading your sleep.
They are made with the finest 100% organic cotton and are completely free from toxins like synthetic pesticides, formaldehyde, and other harsh chemicals that you don't want.
Before making a purchase, I always read reviews, and they have over 11,000 5-star reviews. They also do a 30-night worry-free guarantee, so you can wash, style, and sleep in their sheets for an entire month. And if you don't love them, you can send them back. There's literally no risk.
And it's not just sheets. Boll & Branch also has the airiest blankets, most cloud-like duvets, fluffiest pillows, and literally so much more.
Boll & Branch's signature sheets come in 14 versatile colors in all sizes, from twin up to California King.
Sleep better with the softest, most breathable bedding from Boll & Branch. Get 15% off your order when you use promo code disrespectfully at bollandbranch.com.
That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com. Promo code disrespectfully. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Yes, because you sent me the TikTok. What? Okay, but what the fuck? There was I feel like I just like turned on the news and it was like in the middle of the story because 800 pounds of fajita meat showed up.
Leia, can you please look this up in an actual news article, not a TikTok? So Allegedly,
how many years?
allegedly, someone got. Again, I hope that this is real because I'm going to be so mad if we have to cut this. I follow fajita news, so it's weird that I did not see this.
You don't. There's no such thing as fajita news.
There is fajita news, and we are passionate about fajitas. So
wait, can I tell you? I was watching this last night at like 12:30 at night, and I watched it, and I was like, "What?" And then it ended, and I was like, just started laughing, and I was like, "What?" I have a lot of questions, and first of all, a little more information would have been very helpful. He's like 9 years in prison because they want to set an example for what? What's the example?
Okay, if you can't find it on a reputable news site, basically type in "man gets 50 year sentence for stealing."
I'm seeing that from 2018.
Okay, well, as long as it's real. So maybe this was a long time ago. If anyone is close to the case, please write in. So apparently someone got 50 years in prison for stealing $1.2 million over the course of like 9 years, and they wanted to make an example out of him. And I'm like,
imagine being that guy.
I too need more context. What does it say about it? It's just so weird.
Well, it says, April 23rd, 2018. It said, fajita heist. Texas man sentenced to 50 years for stealing 1.2 million worth of food.
But like how and where? I don't know. I picture him just going to every Chili's in the States and just dine and dashing. When I heard a fajita thief, I heard the sizzle, and then I heard a car vrooming away. That is how it went in my mind, but maybe not.
Okay, it says that it was discovered that he had been placing orders for fajitas using county funds and then selling them for his own profit since December 2008.
There's a fajita black market. I want to get in on that.
Yeah.
Another text that I'm not.
So
a
he's
part
like,
of.
he's like, hey, you want some fajita meat? He's like, I got the hookup.
He opens up his trench coat and it's sizzling. He's just like,
hey, I heard you. Sorry.
I got a deal on the meats.
I heard you're the fajita guy. What kind of meat you got? He's like, I got pollo, carne, shrimp. Like, can I do a combo? I mean, what the fuck? So he like placed orders, and then like it would come, and he'd like heist it off the truck and then go deal it. He was a fajita dealer.
Apparently. 50 years for that though seems silly.
I didn't know that there was like fajita like drug ring.
I think it's because Uncle Sam was involved. So he's misappropriating.
What about the people that worked under him? He was not a one-man, fajita dealer.
No, he had a team. He had a team on the streets.
Imagine he's like, I won't speak. They're like, who else was working for you? He's like, mm-mm.
He's the boss. He's the Tony Soprano of fajitas.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, talk to Chrissy.
I wonder if he's out though, because state records indicate he's eligible for parole May 24th, 2023. So I wonder if he got.
I mean, it's egregious. Now. You shouldn't be sentenced 50 years for fajitas.
Imagine they're in there like, so what are you in here for, man? Like I would have made up something crazy.
He's not an office prison Mike, The Office. He's like, and I kidnapped the president's son. He's like, wow, that's a lot, prison Mike. And he's like, and I never got caught neither. He just puts on his little bandana.
I mean, at that point, I've been in the fajita game for a while.
Do you know what didn't ruin my life?
What?
Finding out that Santa Claus wasn't real. I kind of always knew. I really this is related. Okay,
I kind of want to still believe that he is real. So don't ruin it for me.
Okay, well, yeah. If you're listening, he's real.
I watch the movies and I'm like, I feel like this could be possible.
That's because you think he's hot and you're hoping he gets.
I don't never said anything about him being hot at all.
Anyway, do you know what really ruined magic for me?
What?
When I found out that the sizzle from fajitas is from the water they spray on the hot pan. It's not just delicious food that it's so good that all other food that's ever cooked does not sizzle, but fajitas do. They pour some water on the hot pan, and that's what makes that sound.
I mean, when they want an extreme sizzle, when they want steam, sure. That's just science, babe.
They do it universally. Next time we go to our favorite Mexican restaurant that we're in with them, they're friends, I'm going to have them tell you that.
As somebody that worked at a Mexican restaurant, it can have a nice sizzle when they transfer the meat, but like it won't last long. Places that you go to when they want to carry it out and they want to make a scene, they could do that.
Make a scene? It's just a performative sizzle.
They definitely like sizzle when they put the meat on because there's still juices from the vegetables and the meat, but unless they don't they don't take it out right away.
Well, thank you for coddling
But
me about that.
haven't you ever been in like a sauna and you like pour water on the coals and things like it'll steam?
I don't know. I just compartmentalized it to a special fajita compartment in my brain. And I just didn't want to. I don't know. Yeah, absolutely. I've been a part of that. I don't know, it just never occurred to me.
A hot skillet, meat, water.
Speaking of meat, next week, you guys, Girthmaster's on.
What a segue.
Quick palate cleanser. Well, that's where they're coming to the big show. We're just so excited. I'm just giving you a little heads up. Next week is the episode.
It's what everyone's been waiting for.
I mean, I was certainly.
What Dana's been waiting for.
it. So that's just a quick segue.
Wait, I have a okay. What is your take on old souls?
Well, as an old soul, I would say they're very real. What is your take on old souls?
Okay, I saw a TikTok from Nikki Glazer this morning. I won't say how it was brought to my attention, but it was about her talking about old souls, especially when they're referring to like young women being old souls. What do you think about that?
Well, I once saw a meme that said if you were told you were an old soul as a child, you're on at least one mood stabilizer, and I felt attacked.
She's like, I have all these 40-year-old male friends in my life who are my age saying like, she's very mature. She's an old soul. She's like, can you just say she's young and hot? And she'll believe my lies. So stop saying she's an old soul. If she's an old soul, that means something traumatic happened to her. And and I'm like, I can't believe that.
I don't know. I fundamentally believe in them because I can spot the people in my life who are and who are not. And so but also that I think that can exist, that can coexist. Like in terms of her being like, yeah, I also think that maybe pervy men then leverage that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
She's an old soul or she's just enthusiastic about fellatio. Which one is it?
Or you're not willing to recognize that you're a man-child.
Right.
Yeah. And no women your own age will date you.
Well, I mean, Olivia sings about it to the new generation in her newest album. She was like saying something about because other girls your age know better. She was like basically saying like, I fell for it. Girls your age won't date you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very true thing. I think we see a lot. I think we know a couple, maybe one or two man children. Just a few.
Yeah. I'm not saying there aren't exceptions, but I'm not saying everyone is.
No, definitely not. And I do think it's funny that you're making the point that coming from the person who's saying it, is it like, or are you just, you've been on this earth for an amount of years and you still are a teenager in your heart and in your groin.
You have to watch Nikki Glazer talk about it because it's fucking hilarious.
She's very funny. Where is she these days? What happened to her? I haven't seen anything from her in a while.
She's always, yeah.
She dating someone? The only reason I ask is because she was very open about her struggles in relationships. And I think I listened to her on a podcast and I saw her not that long on something. And she said like me and my boyfriend. I was like, oh, I wonder who she's dating.
Well, I think when she like moved back home, she was like dating like her like high school boyfriend or something for like, I don't know. I remember something about that, but I don't know. She still is. But she like hosts that show like Fuckboy Island or whatever it's called.
Do I have frequent flyer miles to that island? Because it sounds like somewhere where I've spent a lot of time. Yuck. I was at some after party not that long ago, like maybe the end of last year. And I think that they had just wrapped filming and all these guys walked in and I was like, who are these people? And someone was like, oh, that's the cast of Fuckboy Island. And I was like, ugh.
No, you're like the energy in here just got real.
Oh, the air was thick with D&G cologne. There were so many moto pants. I couldn't even see through them.
Like Drake just started playing on repeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh God, I would have ran out of that.
Oh,
place.
I wasn't there for much longer.
Yikes.
Fell in love with one person and left. No, I'm just kidding. Got the fuck out of there.
Caught feelings and then left.
Wait, can I tell you the funniest thing?
What?
And I'm actually very curious what your opinion is on this. I saw a girl last night who she used to be a spicy content creator and someone had been saying that they had sent nudes. Obviously, we've talked about them at length and that person sent her nudes around, which is obviously so fucked up and a huge no-no. And the girl stitched it and was like, that is disgusting. Absolutely not. Here's what you need to do when sending nudes. She's like, this is what I did when I was doing content and then also my personal life. She was like, you only need a small amount of information from the other person. So a phone number, a last name, whatever, superimpose it onto your nude and then send it to them.
What do you mean superimpose it?
Like a watermark. You know how photographers, when they're sending you the first line of photos, so you can't distribute the photos without paying. So basically, she was like, superimpose their phone numbers onto your nude and send it to them. Because if it ever gets out anywhere, it wouldn't necessarily solve the problem.
How do you do that though?
I'm not sure, but I mean, I've become an expert at face app, so I don't think superimposing is very far behind. Sure, we could figure it out.
Yeah,
But I
so
just
they
thought,
can't like edit it out.
no, I mean, it was so interesting to me and funny. And I was like, what a brilliant idea,
That is such a good idea.
isn't it? I'm like, I think all of my nudes going forward are going to have some phone numbers on it. Like, how smart.
That's a really good idea.
And I mean, I am a proponent of taking new ones. Like, it's not like I'm saying I've never taken an old one and just screenshotted it so the date looked up to date and then sent it to someone.
You should do per your request, first and last name with the phone number. So that way they're for sure not, because it's like,
Yeah, you're attached to that.
you're attached, you requested it. So everyone knows that like you asked for this and here's your phone number.
I just thought that was so smart and I would never have thought of it.
No, but that is so brilliant.
But also imagine you're on the receiving end of getting that nude and all of a sudden it's like you just see your like childhood elementary school on it and you're like, what's this?
No, you get just like, hey, what's your mom's number?
Yeah. Her maiden name.
Like what is just like the most personal thing? Like the last thing they really want out there.
I feel like it would have to be something you could sleuth for. So it's like you hop on over to Facebook, you dust the cobwebs off the login, you get in there, you go find his mom, you go find his Aunt Sarah, you go find her something from her,
Mm-hmm.
you know? I don't know. I just thought it was super smart.
I think that's brilliant, actually. It feels like it's like right there, you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it just, why didn't I think of it? But I'm so glad I know. And I encourage everyone to start doing that. We should all band together and create a movement.
I'm not out here just like regularly firing off nudes, but you know what? When and if I ever do, I'm doing that shit.
I'm not as much as I talk about them, but I absolutely, like, now going forward, I'm like, I think that's the baseline. I don't know. I just think we all have to stick together.
My shit is so dry.
Oh my God. I don't even look at who's viewing my stories because I don't care, because it's mostly you. And literally, I'm like, who the fuck else is looking? My sister, you, and my 6 other friends. That's
Yeah. There's not even a person to view, so I don't even care. Couldn't even go look at my views because I'm like, there ain't nobody.
There's no flame emojis waiting for me in my inbox.
No one's gonna even heart that shit.
You know, when you protect your peace so much, you don't get that tummy drop when you go to look at your DMs. I'm like, what meme now, Raleigh? What photo of the kids now, Brittany?
I'm happy. I'm very content, but like it's a little bit boring on that end. I saw Taffy, fucking shout out to Taffy, love her. But she was talking about those the tarot card readers on like and when they start popping up, I know she'll be in trouble because it's like, why are you here again?
Wait, explain.
I'm gonna
explain because some
okay.
people might not know. Some people might have lives.
On TikTok, and you're doing the scroll and someone pops up and they like do like a card pull for just, it's anybody, but like they'll suck you in because they'll be like, all right, they're like, this one is for you. There's going to be someone that's going to be coming into your life. This person, they're having a struggle because they want to send you a message, but there's something that's holding them back. You're like, say more. Because you're like, you know, you're fucking hopeless. Anyway, but like the thing is, I won't see those for months. They'll just not be in my For You page. And then there'll be a time where it's like particularly like this, or I don't know, someone's doing something weird. And then all of a sudden they'll start popping up again. And I'll feel like, oh my God, there's a reason why this is popping up right now. It's like I'm meant to see this. And I don't know why they come around and then oftentimes they don't come around. But Taffy was talking about it. She's like, when the tarot people come around and they're like, all right, I have some cards for the cardinal signs. And I guess she's like a Cancer. And they're like, she's like, it's always like, work this, business that. And she goes, and I'm so like grateful for that. And I'm also cardinal sign as well. She's like, but is there like a make out in there? A little tongue to tongue, a little smooch. And I'm just like, I feel this. I feel that.
Sometimes that happens to me too. It comes in spurts, all those little TikTok astrologers.
Yeah,
they
like
come in bursts.
like really great that it's like business and work. Like that's like for sure. I love to make some money. I would love also to like make out with somebody too.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
Am
Call me.
Am I gonna get fondled soon?
Yeah, a little grope
Over the shirt action?
like a consensual grope.
Little consensual grope. Can I tell you something so embarrassing?
What?
Don't tell anyone.
Sure.
One time,
Just speak it into the microphone.
one of those tarot reader people, I mean, I think they wear multiple hats. They're very powerful. Told me I was in limerence in the fall of last year. I was like having trouble getting over someone. Literally never told a soul this. And they were like, okay, here's what you need to do. And I do believe in this, okay? They're like, you need to do a banishing spell. So what you need to do is write that person's name on a piece of paper, fold it 6 times away from you, put it in a bag of water with cloves, I think pepper and some other shit, fill it with water,
Put it in the
freezer.
Yeah.
Once it's frozen, throw that shit out. I did it.
Yeah, banishing spells work.
Well, I mean, yeah, spells in general. But the embarrassing part here for me is that I trusted a TikTok astrologer and it was like, yeah, yes,
Well,
girl.
They're just relaying
Real legitimate information.
legit information. I'm talking about when they're pulling cards not meant for you, meant for anyone that's scrolling by and you're like, I'm sat
Do you know?
and I'm listening.
Well, and when they're like flicking their cards and like, no hashtags. This was meant to find you. It's on your.
If you're seeing this, it was meant for you. That's what we're talking. Taffy's like, I think you need to do a reshuffle. Like, I'm here now, so can we reshuffle them? Do you know what I would do when I get to those lives of the coin pushers? That shit would hook me. I would sit there and watch it. They would push the stacks. Like there'd be a Dave and Buster's, and they would like drop the quarters, and it'd move the stack, and then the stack would fall. I don't know why that shit was so satisfying to me, but I would sit there and watch it for like 10 minutes. I'd be like,
this is something I've never said on this podcast. I've never seen that on TikTok.
I've never said that to anyone.
But I just said it in front of my phone, so it's going to be there. Did you see what was going on with Britt Smith and Jojo Siwa?
No. Who's Britt Smith?
Fascinating. Okay, so Britt Smith had the song Karma, which Jojo Siwa just put out from 2012. It is actually a bop when she does it. It's like the beat, it's produced way better. It just when Britt Smith does it.
Okay.
So, but she never released it or something.
Oh.
So Jojo, then someone asked, like, didn't you see this Britt Smith? And she's like, oh no, it's not the same song. It's this blah, 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 blah. It is the exact same song. In response, Britt Smith, who I learned this morning, do you know the hair product brand Color Wow?
Yeah.
Her mom founded that company and her twin sister now run it. So she's really high up at Color Wow. She's like, has a great, cool job. She released it and it is now charting. I think it's #1 now because TikTok is so fed up with JoJo's antics that they are rallying together. And I just thought that was such, never in the history of the world has anyone ever been like, oh, really? I didn't do that song and then released it 12 years after they created it.
Well, how would she be able to record and release a song that someone else already did?
Because it was unreleased.
Oh.
JoJo's song, I believe, is just called Karma and hers is called Karma's a Bitch. And people are mostly talking about the fact that the song mentions karma and then this is happening. I don't know the ins and out. Like I'm not in the music industry, but it's happening and people are going nuts on TikTok about it. It's so funny and I don't know, just a fascinating little pop culture moment.
I haven't heard either, so I'm gonna have to listen now.
I'm sure Jojo Siwa is a very nice person. Nothing bad to say about her from that perspective. I truly hope that this is a bit like what she's doing right now, just as far as she's like, hey, someone's got to do it. Like she's like, no one in my generation has had such a crazy flip to be such a bad girl. I saw her doing a podcast or something and she was like, you know, before 2 years ago, I wasn't ready to say I was a bad girl. I wasn't ready to say I did some bad things. I wasn't ready to say I couldn't F around. You've not seen any of this of Jojo Siwa?
I've not seen any of this. What is happening?
You haven't heard the song?
I haven't heard the song. I haven't seen any of this.
Bitch. I shouldn't.
You haven't seen this, her dance, her like.
You guys know I haven't. I've never seen anything. She's never popped up on my.
Well, tonight I'm going to be on Coin Talk and you're going to be on Jojo Talk and we can regroup.
I mean, I did hear that someone asked me about something and I did hear something about her saying that she invented like gay pop or something.
Yeah, she just keeps saying these out of pocket things and
I think it's a young thing.
Do you think that that's just what it is? It's just age?
It's an age thing and she's like not quite sure how to like own things that she's doing. I mean, like she was like a baby basically when she became famous and things like that. So I think it's just like she just is like unsure how to be a full grown adult in the public eye and just be like, so you want to be a bad girl, you want to be a bad bitch. There's a way to do that. Just kind of be it. Don't talk about it.
Yeah, and also I totally give space for that, right? Like she has been famous since she was a little girl and Abby Lee yelled at her. So I'm sure that did damage and she's, you know, an eccentric person, obviously. Let's jump off TikTok and jump onto Netflix. I swear we do other things. Did you watch Baby Reindeer?
I haven't had time. I know. I'm sorry. We can talk about it.
We'll have to talk about it. What I will say, just because if honestly anyone is at home listening that needs a new show to watch and hasn't, there's a show on Netflix called Baby Reindeer. And what is so interesting to me about it is the guy who stars in it is the guy who experienced it in real life. So it's a very true story and it's very sad and dark, but highly recommend watching it. It has, a positive ending. But basically, he's this guy that's kind of lost and is a struggling stand-up comedian, and he's working at this bar, and this lady randomly comes in one day and she's maybe, 20 years older than him, and she's really strange. And so he feels bad for her. So he starts to be nice to her. And she immediately like engages with him, and he knows that like something is up with her. Like she's like, oh, I don't want anything. I can't afford anything. And he was like, okay, well, you have to buy something to sit here. And she was like, I can't. And he basically gives her a Diet Coke for free. And that's what starts all of it. You can see her like immediately being like, oh my God, he's in love with me. But she is really quickly telling obvious lies. She's like, well, I'm an attorney. I'm one of the most powerful attorneys in the UK, whatever that means. She's like, I work for this big name and this big name. And so immediately he's like, why are you an attorney and you can't afford a pop? Like something's weird.
Yeah.
So then she starts coming in all the time, and then she starts stalking him in like a really big way that is terrifying and fascinating. And it's just about his journey, and please watch it. It's so good. So I need you to watch it.
He experienced this, and then he
wrote a play originally
Okay.
about it, and then Netflix adapted it into a show, and he starred in it. Like, do you remember the incredibly traumatizing movie 13?
Yeah.
So I saw that when I was 13, and then I've watched it once since, and it was a couple months ago, and I will never watch it again in my life. It was my 13th year was very challenging, like different reasons, but there were parallels, and it's like I can't. It's like so unbelievably triggering and traumatizing, and I'm sure it is for a lot of people. But Nikki Reed in that plays the mean girl, but she wrote it, and it's what she was Evan Rachel Wood
That's
in real
right.
life, which
Yeah.
is I just think it's so cool and interesting when movies and TV shows do that.
I wonder if it's like if it's extra traumatizing or more therapeutic for people to write something about their experience and then actually like act in that. I don't know.
I saw a short interview with him. I'd love to hear more about it, because I do think it probably depends on the person, but I think he was saying like, yeah, this was the worst thing that ever happened to me, and there were elements about it that were really hard, but I think the overarching theme in the story is his going through something so awful that pushed him to a place to get to where he needed to be from a growth perspective and healing, and like all these other things that happened to him that set the stage to let this woman come into his life and like let that situation develop. So I think that in the end, it probably was therapeutic, but that would be so, imagine taking the worst thing that's ever happened to you and then living it in a movie. And with like all this, some of the, like she would send him hundreds of emails a day. They like show all of the, like a lot of the emails. So it's like word for word what had happened. Very strange.
Jesus.
Super uplifting. But anyway, if you're
I'm gonna watch it.
If you're in the mood to get destroyed, please watch it.
Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah. No, I got it now.
Okay.
Because I think that's fascinating. When things are also like true stories, I find it fascinating.
Totally. It's just icky. Have you ever dealt with a stalker?
Well, if I ever did, they were really great because I didn't know. I didn't know they were stalking me. No.
I dealt with something weird when I was young. I was like 17 or 18, and this person called me for months, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of time. And one time I answered the phone and I basically bitched them out, because I answered a couple times originally not knowing who it was or what it was. And he was just, and it was in this like high pitched voice, and he would say random things, and he'd be like, there's a raccoon in the store. Did you see it? Like would say all these weird things. And so when I answered finally again, I was like, fuck you, don't call me again, blah, blah, blah. And he immediately, his voice changed, and he was like, if you hang up the phone right now, I'm going to kill you.
What?
Yeah, literally said that to me. So hung up. It's also hard. You can't block unknown numbers or whatever. So I obviously just never answered again, and we ended up filing a police report. And then he would call. He called. I to this day, I wonder if it was someone I knew who just didn't like me, who was trying to torture me. But he started calling a bunch of people that I knew in my life. It's like someone who was trying to make it clear that they knew me, whether it's because they were a person in my life or they just found out who I was. That was so traumatizing. To this day, I will literally never answer unknown, block call. There's nothing that can make me answer that call. You can leave me a voicemail, or I'm not calling you back.
I'm not answering you unknown.
When
When it says unknown, absolutely not. When it's a number that, unless I have your number saved in my phone, I'm not answering. Even if your number's saved in my phone, probably not. No, just kidding. I'll answer it. But like, oh, God.
I don't know. Maybe that was just a different time and it was before smartphones. But yeah, it's the same way in which, like, I have a Ring camera. I have a peephole, obviously. I will, if I do not know who I will not even go near my door.
No.
When I like,
Joking?
yeah. People who do that in this economy, I'm like,
In 2024?
honestly, I need to stop saying that. I'm trying to make fetch happen, but I just think it's so funny to say in this economy after everything
know.
we say.
Well,
I have to let it die.
Sometimes it's really funny.
Sometimes it's funny and then sometimes it feels like fetch. Well, this is a wonderful segue to my basement.
Who's in your basement?
The guy who's in my basement this week. So at Coachella, when you're leaving Coachella, it's a big cluster. It's very hard to get an Uber. So we had this like shuttle thing that was bringing us to the pedicabs the whole weekend, the neighborhood we stayed in. So he had given us his card and I was like, great. We actually are walkable from the beginning of our neighborhood to Coachella, but then we're within the neighborhood. It would have been like over an hour walk. So tired. So I text this guy, get through, service is bad there. And he's like, I'll meet you at this spot at this time. So we met up. He picked me up. The second I got in the car, he started asking very inappropriate, intrusive questions. He's like, how many people are you staying with? Where are they? Are they coming back soon? How much did you drink today? What did you drink? He literally asked me, how much did you drink today? What did you drink today? And he had like a forerunner.
How many people are staying with you? When are they?
Sir,
the questions, less obvious.
The questions he was asking were just so inappropriate and weird. And women experience this all the time when you are in an Uber and you feel uncomfortable. And I didn't want to make him mad, but I was like, I don't get into like, oh, bumbly. I was very assertive and I was like, I don't drink. I'm like, if you ever sees this podcast? I was like, oh, I don't drink. I was like, my friends are right behind me. I was like, they're actually coming to meet me. Then he would not listen to me as I was like, that is our gate. And he was like, oh, it's too hard to go. I have a transponder for the back of the neighborhood. I rolled down my window, fully bracing because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't child lock, fully bracing to have to jump out of the back of the window and run. Like I was terrified and I have bad service. So I'm like, well, kind of on my own here. We get to the back gate, won't open. He was like, oh, it just worked a few minutes ago. And I was like, you need to take me where I'm asking you to take me or I'm getting out of this car. Took me back. We go in. He drops me off. I was guiding him because it wasn't an Uber, right? So he didn't have the address and I wanted to watch where he was taking me. And he took me like 5 houses down from where he was supposed to because I wanted him to. And as I was paying him, he was like, well, just let me know if you want any company. Okay. You can text me.
What the fuck?
So that man is in my basement forever. It is so disgusting, especially when a woman's alone. Men need to learn when you're being inappropriate and asking invasive questions. Also, you do not have to ask any questions, answer any questions you don't want to. But again, it's the balancing act of us as women trying not to reject a man and then incite violence or a reaction when all I'm trying to do is get home.
No, 100%.
Anyway, that was terrible. And he's in my basement. Who's in your basement?
I don't want to put them in my basement.
Ooh.
Only because last night I couldn't sleep. Because I had terrible heartburn. But the people that sell the street dogs outside, why you gotta tempt me like that?
Oh, no.
It was the best and worst decision of my life because it was so delicious. But like literally my chest was burning. So thank you, but also like get in the basement.
Your basement's gonna be lit. You're now supplying hot dogs to the people you hate.
And
that sucks.
They're gut bombs. Guess what? There's not a bathroom down there. There's not any Pepsid down there. There's no Pepsid. There's no
Alka-Seltzer.
You're gonna just be writhing with pain.
Okay, fair.
I just like sat there and I was like this. I was like, street wieners are always a good idea in theory and they taste so delicious, but like it's immediate regret. It wasn't like that was a solid decision. I'm really glad I did that.
But in the moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, going like in the moment, I was like, oh, great. It's wrapped in bacon. They put mayo on it. And
I think you did this to yourself.
I did it to myself. But like, so do I put myself, I only put my base.
You need to help them carry the cart down. Let's do Heuxmetown Heroes. You guys keep writing in your hometowns and your WWDDs to disrespectfullypod@gmail.com. They're amazing. Please keep them short. For the hometowns, please, any crazy story. It doesn't have to be dating, but we truly get a kick out of reading these. Brittany says, love the podcast and you both. Been watching since episode 1. Woo! Anyway, I'll keep this short as possible. When I was 21 or 22, I was with a group of friends, including a guy I had a crush on and was hoping to hook up with. We'd all grab 4 Locos to drink. This is before they were reformulated. If you know, you know.
Oh, I know.
I got 2 cans, never had them before, but was warned by my friends to only drink 1 because they were so strong. I finished my first can and despite my friends' warnings, oh God, proceeded to down the second can of Four Loko. Next thing I remember, I'm going down on this guy I had a crush on in my roommate's room. No idea how we ended up there. He finishes and I decided to lay back on my roommate's bed. Then I had a full-on exorcist moment, sat up and projectile vomited all over myself and my roommate's bed and wall. Safe to say I never spoke to that guy again, but luckily my roommate forgave me. Brittany.
The fact that you remember any of that is pretty impressive.
So they got banned when I was in college, but I think the first like few months we had them, and that was the game, is we all used to drink 1 and see if we could drink a second. Every time you threw up, every time you blacked out, hungover for days. They used to have caffeine in them.
Yeah,
For people who don't know, that was the reformulation. One of those would get anyone shit
They said
canned.
crack in them. What are you talking about? Caffeine, please. That shit was not caffeine.
When I saw original Four Loko, I was like, if you have more original Four Loko stories, please send them in. But how horrible is that?
We used to get 1 and like split 1 and it was on. Like it was a Four Loko night. 2? But also like, okay, I hate when they're just like, oh yeah, I threw up and then he never talked to me again. It's like, oh, like you've never thrown up.
Yeah, that guy's in the basement too.
Get over yourself.
He can have a hot dog. But yeah, and also obviously I'm glad her roommate, I'm sure she had to do all the cleaning as she should have, but
oh, it sucks.
oh, it's such a bummer.
I'm sorry about that. But we've all been there. Let's do WWDD.
Let's do it.
Anonymous says, this is an embarrassing problem. So much that I'm sending it from a fake email address due to the shame. Please don't judge me. I love you both so much. I'm 29 years old. I am a corporate lawyer. I'm generally fun and kind and have a good social life. And I say with humility, I'm actually hot. I believe you.
I do too.
My problem, I've had a parasocial crush on a Twitch streamer, Hassan Piker. Oh, I know who that is. You may wish to bleep his name.
No,
let's keep it.
We're keeping his name in.
So everyone can look it up. You know, maybe they want to like support this. For years. You've had this crush for years. Okay. I do date and I've had 2 serious relationships, one of which occurred amidst this whole sitch. But I'm at a very happy place in my life. I just can't stop thinking about this random dude on the internet who I internally really believe is my soulmate or something. He's not even my physical type. I think it's actually just a mental thing. She says about a man she's never met. Again, this issue has persisted for years. What do I do? With infinite love and support for your new podcast, which has quickly become one of my faves. A parasocial crush on someone you've never met. I mean, it's like a fantasy crush on somebody. I mean,
to me, this sounds like virtual limerence.
Wow.
So if that's
have you ever had that before?
Yeah, I fall in love with everyone.
Girthmaster?
Well, yeah, you kind of.
I mean, and he was just on our podcast.
But you had contact with him. It sounds like this person has never had any contact or met them or anything.
Yeah, I know. I don't know to this level, but here would be my quick 2 cents on this. You do one of 2 things and you do it quickly. Number 1, slide into his DMs. See if you really believe he's your soulmate and there's a connection, do that. And if something's going to come of it, it will. If not, you need to block him. You need to, for your own good, stop looking at his social media, stop wondering what he's doing, stop on Twitch, on Instagram, any type of social media, get off it, because it does sound like you're in a limerent situation and continuing to digest his content is not going to help you out of that. And especially if it's, I'm not judging you at all, but if it is so much that it's distracting you from dating and your normal life, girl.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I know, I completely agree. Like, yeah, we can 100% have like real crushes on celebrities or people that we see all the time when we're watching on TV shows that come into our lives via television or whatever it might be on a regular basis. So if you have any kind of access to them, put it out there. But you've kind of already been in it at this point longer than potentially he has. So you got to dial it back a bit too. You don't want to figure him out. But yeah, I think you either have to do that or same like you said, block, delete, cut yourself off.
Unsubscribe.
Anyway, wow, good luck. Let us know how it goes.
Follow up with us. Anonymous says, hi, Katie and Dana. Day 1 listener here. Love you too and the realness, humor you are bringing to the world. And my husband and I have been together for coming up on 9 years. We had a great sex life initially, but the past 6 years or so, I've dealt with pelvic pain that caused sex to be very painful for me. So safe to say my husband and I would not have sex that often. Side note, men and women and anyone in between, sex should not be painful. So please go get your lovely self checked out if that is the case. Preach. My husband has been so wonderful and patient with me, and I'm finally on the mend now and ready to get back at it. But my head is still in sex rot mentality. Any tips to connecting with your sexual side and getting your groove back? Well, the Girth Master has a new toy coming out. I would say it starts with you getting sexual with yourself. Like, it's just, I just do not understand. Masturbating is not just for people with penises. It is for everyone. It is, I'd say, exploring yourself in different ways you haven't, using toys, without toys. Just see what gets you going. Maybe you want to explore some spicy content. Maybe you can talk with your partner, because maybe your partner has ideas and how they would be all about you. And maybe when you're first hooking up again, make sure it's very you-centric. And I'm sure your husband will want to support you in that. So just, I think that is what will help you along, is making sure you're very taken care of. And maybe where you guys are like doing oral and it's not about you reciprocating or having sex after, it's just about getting you into the flow of having orgasms and just really wanting to be sexually active.
Yeah, because I think right now it's totally all mental too, and that might just take a little bit of time. But yeah, whether, or even like listening to like maybe some spicy content, and if there's things that like kind of like call out to you and you're like, oh, that kind of turns me on a little bit, lean into that stuff too, because that's going to help get you out of like whatever kind of mental block is in the way. And then I just agree with whatever you said too.
I think it'll come. Hee. So just keep going with it. And also kudos to you for advocating for your health. So important.
100%.
Last note, I want to say we are on Instagram and TikTok at disrespectfullypod. And on YouTube, we are just disrespectfully. And like, if you guys want to watch our show, that we record it, not just for our health, but because if you want it, it can be part of your visual diet.
Yeah, if you want to see how beautiful we are.
Anything else?
Make sure to tune in next week for our first guest.
Our first guest ever. We're so excited to bring you guys the Girth Master.
The girth will be here in all his girthy glory.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye. Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.